Man, that was
an adventure.
Yeah, that was an adventure and a half.
I hope
right
you're
there.
clear. Hey guys, this is Name Pending.
This is Name Pending.
I'm Keeper.
I'm Mike Culberson. I don't know why he's not sure who he is. We've done this multiple times now. So we got Rob over here.
We got a Goose over here. Duck, duck, quack.
Honk.
Pearl's in my lap right now, and Cabo's in Rob's lap.
Yep. And we have a Nessie. A wild Nessie has appeared.
Yeah, this is the first appearance of Nessie.
Second, she's appeared once before, but she's never been on camera to date.
Oh man, Pearl's paw is slimy where she was eating that ball. It's just the slime. You gotta touch his paw, bro.
No, I'm good.
Touch
We
his
got
paw.
a Toby over here.
Or Toby.
No, don't touch me with that crook. I'm so glad I changed out of my comfortable shorts. We got a bow somewhere.
Bo is in the ether somewhere.
But before book talk, we wanted to talk about medical equipment.
Yeah, I would do the show and tell, but instead we're gonna do a sit and tell, and then we'll move the bag, or you'll move the bag.
I'll push the bag.
You'll push the bags off. So, anyways, I had recently sliced my hand open, or my wrist open, and as I was patching myself up in front of the Home Depot
With this bag.
Which is my truck bag, I realized that I was mostly running out of medical supplies in it.
So this doesn't work because Mike doesn't refill his stuff apparently.
Well, I was thinking about refilling my stuff, but then I was like, I could do that, or
Just an idea. Let me get a paramedic bag.
which is what this is actual EMT bag, right?
Exactly.
Which, yes, it does have stuff in there that I am not qualified to use,
Or trained.
or legally allowed to use even. However, my theory on that being is that there may be other people out wherever I'm at who are trained on how to use that equipment
And or qualified.
and are qualified. And so it's better for me to have it also with the big ass bag, because we talked about this relatively recently on one of our podcasts with the car crash talk. I cannot lose that bag in my truck.
Correct.
It is impossible for me to lose that bag in my truck. And if I tell someone to go get the bag from my truck,
They'll know exactly
they'll know
which bag.
exactly which bag.
Because why? They use a vibrant color for a reason.
So we were going to like open it up and look at some stuff, but it's kind of dark out here, and we realized we couldn't really see what was in it too well ourselves.
So it wouldn't matter.
So it wouldn't matter. But Keeper's gonna help me sit down.
Organized from low, mid, high,
Yeah.
and in your head.
Yeah. So we'll get it organized. We'll add what needs to be added to it. Take away. Probably
Honestly,
nothing.
everything in there should be fine.
Right?
And at this point, it's just going to come down to, do you know where everything's at?
Yeah.
Do you know where everything's
Yeah.
at? So that way, if you're
and not just me, but you as well, because 9 times out of 10, if there's an incident, we're both in the same place.
9 times out of 10, yes. But realistically, it's so you can explain to someone, it's your bag, you can explain to someone where something is. That's the biggest thing, because I don't drive to work with you.
No, but
Yeah.
how often
Yeah.
have you used that bag with me more than I've used that bag by myself?
I've used the bag on myself because it was like, hey, Keeper, here you go. Here's a knife. And it was like, oh, thanks, and slice.
Yeah, as the Christmas present knife slices his hand wide open.
Who's really at fault there, though? Is that
Oh,
Keeper?
I am the most dangerous person with the knife.
No,
Or is it the person
to
who gave
myself.
him the weapon?
that's like saying, is the gun sitting on the counter just going to pick up itself and shoot?
By the way, I let my shotgun sit overnight for 3 nights on my front porch. Didn't kill a single person.
All I'm
That's
saying
fucking
is
weird.
there are some
Amazing.
people I
Fucking
wouldn't
weird.
hand a gun to because I know better.
Well,
Oh,
apparently my
dude,
front
dude.
porch is safe.
So,
Yeah, your front porch is fine.
I've got a story in regards to that.
I'm excited.
So a friend of mine, I'm gonna be vague about this, but you know this friend.
Oh dear, I'm afraid.
They had
you, Timmy.
they had a friend from out of town, a very, very liberal friend from out of town.
Oh dear.
And this was back when I was in the apartment, and
Oh double dear.
they come into my apartment, and it's my apartment, and I'm only having adults there. I don't have any kids there, right?
And we live in Texas.
And so my steel carry gun is sitting on the kitchen counter,
Because freedom.
and she proceeds to just pick it up and wave it around. and we're both like, me and my friend.
Very quickly, I'd be
What-
playing Protect the President.
What are you doing?
Yeah, we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! Put the weapon down. She had never handled a weapon before. She had no idea what gun safety was, and honestly, my gun is loaded with one in the chamber because, by God, I'm doing it right.
Because if you don't have one in the chamber, please tell me that you
It might
can
as
let
well
off
not
a
be
round
loaded.
faster than I can unload the one in my chamber.
So since then, you've set up an actual like test for anyone who comes into your house. You're like, can you pass this gun safety course? I need to know if I need to put up my gun. This is an important question.
Do you have a certification card?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I have a pistol in my spare bathroom, so tell me how I do.
You're right.
There you go.
When all rooms are full of weapons, I guess it's either they know or they don't come in.
Look, I can't complain because I had a pistol every 6 foot of my 2-story house. Every 6 feet, I had a pistol.
How many square feet?
I had 2,400 square feet.
That is impressive.
Every 6 feet, there was a pistol.
Government's doing the math
He
right now.
cracks me up because every now and then he'll open up a cabinet or a drawer or something, and there'll be either a gun or a knife in there, and he'll just look at me, and then he'll move on about his business.
What do you want me to say? It's like I had it underneath. I had one in my silverware drawer. I had one behind the knife block at the time. All over the place. It was like, oh look, here's alcohol. Oh, there's a pistol. It was like, well, yes, because it's on one specific spot of my house. Well, sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's
Makes-
right inside the garage.
Makes perfect fucking sense to me.
It's not because I'm drinking and handling
And
firearms.
shooting.
No, because I lived
Oh
in a
man,
neighborhood.
I
Oh,
will
yeah.
never forget that one associate of ours who I asked to see my pistol and proceeded to flag everybody. And I know that y'all had a conversation with it.
We did.
However, it still lives in my brain. How
Yeah,
I-
no, I've
even-
never felt more in danger.
even people who should know better don't necessarily know better.
Let me see your gun and point at everyone in the room. I'm so glad it didn't fire.
Yeah, Rob?
Oh,
Now you can't fix stupid, right?
no,
Well,
you,
I mean,
You can try.
realistically, I respect you because you're not very comfortable around weapons.
No, I just really haven't had them around. Like, it's
Right.
honestly, my boys each have guns, and in my
Okay.
house, it's all good. But I do have to tell my son to make my wife comfortable. Like, hey, just don't leave it lying around in the middle. Like, have some control because you know us. You're gonna trust us. Me and your mom aren't gonna do anything stupid. But one day you're gonna be on your own, and like you guys just had the example. Who you invite in your house, you just don't fucking know, right?
which is why I had one every 6 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it's like just make sure you kind of take care of them. Make sure it's all.
It was
that,
the
yeah.
most armed, dangerous, and safest house.
Yeah.
Same point.
But it is one of those things that, I went shooting this summer when my wife was in Japan. I went shooting with my boys, good time, and I'm like, my son immediately, I think the next day went and bought a gun, my youngest. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy one, and I'm just trying to figure out I'm probably going to buy 2. Shotgun for home self-defense, and I'm trying to figure out what the next one's going to be.
Question.
I mean, it
why?
depends-
Question. Why shotgun for home self-defense?
So I don't have to be exactly accurate with my aim.
So this is an argument I have against
This
a lot of people because I think that this is a common.
It's a common argument.
It's a
That's
common
why I asked.
misconception. Is that I've got a 12 gauge shotgun. I don't have to be able to aim, but you do.
Dude,
Birdshot
but
won't kill me; it'll only hurt me,
And also,
Yeah.
which
how-
will enrage me.
how does expansion? How does shotgun work? It's based off expansion.
oh yeah,
right?
know what's behind it and all that good
Well,
stuff.
no,
No,
not even
They will
that.
stay in the drywall.
It is dictated by a certain distance by how big your expansion.
Yeah.
So if they are from me to Goose, if you can aim,
Oh no,
you could shoot a shotgun and miss his shoulder.
Yeah.
no, I get it. But I figure with the spread, right?
That's that's actually
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
what
talking
he's
about.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah, but if I have a handgun, if I fucking just losing my shit and I'm not precise, I'm
If
gonna
you have
completely miss.
if you have a handgun and someone is in 15 feet of you and you can't hit them,
You
Oh.
should have known a gun anyway.
No disagreement there. I'm just saying, I'm more of a hey, if I'm accurate, one shot gotten the job done.
now that's not saying that I don't have a shotgun for home defense. Like I'm not making an
I have-
argument against
no,
that.
I'm not making an argument because I have one, but it's set up for riot rounds.
Mm.
So I have pepper. So
Yeah.
that's your birdshot. Double aught.
Yeah.
Pepper again, double lot.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're going to hurt first, because then I'll see you stop.
Yeah.
I have now stopped it. Now, if you continue, you're getting hit with buckshot.
I was watching a video and it recommended that, for people not like kind of like me, I'm a bit of a novice when it comes to that. It's like first 2 rounds, Pepper.
Yeah.
And if that motherfucker still is moving forward,
Exactly.
it's the shit.
Because my intention is not to kill. My intention is to stop the intruder.
Oh, am I doing it wrong?
Listen,
No,
you're in
don't get me
Texas,
wrong.
there is
if
no
I
wrong.
leave my room with my pistol, I'm stopping the intruder, and I'm calling the cops saying,
Yeah.
I have a dead body in my house. But if I'm leaving my room with my shotgun, I'm giving you every possibility to stop. And because if you shoot someone with birdshot, 9 times out of 10, they're not stopping.
Mhm.
So
Well,
it's
okay.
bang, bang.
So what happens if I shoot someone with double aught?
They're stopping. It's
Yeah, they're stopping. So
They're-
that's why I have 5 double aught in my shotgun.
Which is why I have riot rounds. I have pepper, double aught, pepper, double aught. It was like, this is the first person. Oh, there's a second. Here's the second person.
You're so nice. You're such a nice guy. I can appreciate it.
I'm thoughtful.
Yeah.
Now,
maybe
my quick loads are not as nice. Double, triple, double, triple, double, triple. It's like, you have pissed me off. My
Yep.
whole family's awake. My dogs are losing their minds.
Yep.
Goose,
And at this
you
point,
been
it's
quiet
hated
over there, man. What
discontent.
you got?
So, I have a pistol.
A pistol?
Yeah, a pistol. I'm pretty sure I bought it from him.
It's a ladysmith.
Yeah,
It's actually a
Woohoo!
nice ladysmith.
Okay.
it is pretty nice. I think it was the gun that just.
You do
didn't-
have some soft hands.
That's very true. Like they are very
Yeah,
lotion.
We are
It's
in
a
IT.
proper wheel gun with a 10-pound
we
trigger.
all have soft hands.
It does have a 10-pound trigger pull. It is a
Yeah.
very
okay.
heavy. It is a purse gun. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
proper
Yeah.
ladysmith.
That's made to be
Yeah.
carried.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I took it off his hands because Jess didn't want to carry it because the
She
only
didn't want the
safety,
kick.
the only safety was the 10-pound trigger and then
Gotcha.
the
The,
kick.
the kick for a 38?
380.
Oh, 380.
The 380.
That's still.
You're right. It's not that. But
I mean, I shoot a 357. I'm very comfortable with that.
But
That's my
here's-
side table. gun.
you're a male. A biological male.
Oh, okay, okay. Fucking tell her to put on the wrist strap.
Yeah, that's what
But
she
it
They
did.
have
doesn't.
those.
The pistol's actually only like this big.
Yeah.
Like that's.
So, is that all you have?
No, that's all I have, and one of the reasons is because part of me doesn't trust myself based on my eyesight. Even though I've gone to the range and I've shot, I figured out that I'm left-handed, and that was half my problem because man, my shots were bad before then. Basic was a nightmare. I did not pass anything.
I shot left-handed in basic.
I didn't realize that I was left-eye dominant.
I can shoot both.
I shoot both, but I was just messing
Because-
with our drill instructor. I
Because
was
I've
like,
got that.
oh,
left,
I'm left-handed. He was like, write your name. I was like, okay, Joseph.
I've got
Yeah.
that. I've got that lefty rifle and that lefty 30-06 Remington 700.
Yeah.
That I bought and didn't realize it was a lefty. But I shoot that just fine.
It's
That's
not
how
hard,
that's
yeah.
how I figured out how that I could shoot both. I wouldn't call myself ambidextrous because I don't necessarily think that I shoot better. I don't think I shoot just
I
as
shoot
well
the
left.
same. I've tested it.
I haven't tested.
Oh, okay. Well, you can.
I can. I gotta go to the range.
Oh, all right. But you only have one wheel
I-
gun.
Yeah, I
I
only have
need
one.
you. I need you to grow up. I need you to start purchasing guns. I need you to be a real
Proceeding,
boy.
sir.
At least
I don't-
he has one. I got
I don't
zero,
disagree
so,
with you at
know.
all. I really just need to dedicate money to it. It's not even that I don't have the money because that's just an excuse.
Yeah,
I
he's
just need
not
to
wrong
dedicate
there.
the money to it.
He's
Yeah.
not- Yeah, because he could tell you about, like, I have a home gym and I have spent way more than I
Woo!
expected. So once I get in the guns, I know where it's going. I just
Right.
know where it's going.
Buy a safe first.
Yeah.
That's
Valid.
actually,
In your case, definitely because you got two
Yeah.
kids,
I do.
and you're not gonna feel comfortable unless you have a safe.
Well, and it's not just that because like right now we just have it out of reach and think like based on my wife's genetics, she's very short. She's
So
four.
sad. He's the only one that can reach it.
She's 4'10" and a half, so she's half an inch away from being a legal midget.
And you're
according to
short
Google.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm a whole 5'11". I'm super short.
Yeah, I mean you're under 6 foot. That's pretty short.
Yeah, no. Well, you ask women nowadays, that's accurate.
yeah.
But whatever.
They want the 6666.
Hey,
Ugh. Ugh.
gross. I'll be the
What?
short king.
What?
Whatever.
What? Tell me I'm wrong.
No.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not. That's the
The
problem.
less than 1%
No.
of American males.
I fear for the young generation.
I
Yeah,
don't because they're changing.
They are changing.
Yes. Male.
No, females.
Really?
Females do.
Okay,
Females
okay.
do are
So
doing
there's
the
hope.
turnaround.
There's hope.
There's hope. Okay.
Now,
But,
from that
you know,
generation and before, so pretty much after your generation,
Yeah.
all the way to the now generation, like,
I'm sorry. Whenever a woman is sitting there going like, "I need a man who makes over 200,000 a year," and it's like, you're like a 5. What the fuck are you talking about?
you're a solid 2. This is after beer.
Like this is after an 18-month deployment. You're like a 1.
I'm so glad that I married young.
Oh.
I really am.
yeah.
Because, like, I would probably still be single because I'm not willing to put up with drama. I can't stand drama more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like,
That's where I'm at, bro.
It's
and I'm with you. I get it.
Because I have straight up broken off relationships before they truly got it started because they started to play the games with me.
Yep.
And like I felt like an old man before now, right? Like because they would start playing the games and I'd be like, I don't got time in my life for this. And I'd move on about my
Nah.
business.
Yep.
Nah.
And so yeah, now I'm 35 years old and I'm single. Congratulations.
And he makes money, gross.
And he-
Don't
and he
put that-
almost
Throw,
made-
throw a comment down below.
we're gonna get them back into the market sooner or later. That's for sure.
My mom's working on me too. She's like, "What have you done this week in order to get back into the market?"
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Clearly somebody
Your
wants
mom's your
grandbabies.
pimp. Your mom's pimping you out.
She fucking tried to put me in touch with girls and like the whole shebang. Like she wants grandkids.
Look, you think baby fever's bad? Nah,
Nah,
grandbaby
grandma-
fever. It's
grandkid
way
fever.
worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm hearing it from my mom and my dad.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
that's bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like, "Oh, you need to go." To which I always have the perfect response. And any of y'all who are dealing with this out here, just remember, hey, if that's what you really want, I could just go get someone knocked up at any point in time.
It's okay.
Some
My
rando.
parents waited
Yeah.
9 years for me to have a kid. It's
Yep.
like, no, I'll wait. You're like, oh, I'll wait. Or I'll just stop talking to you till I have a kid.
And look, you have a great kid.
Yeah, she's way too smart for her own good.
I mean, now unfortunately you're moderately retarded now, but she's great.
I blame lack of sleep.
I don't blame anything.
I blame the motorcycle.
I blame
That-
a lot
Well,
of motorcycle-
That'll do it.
Yeah, no, the worst part was coming back to work and it was like, I have no idea where this is at.
Yeah, you lost like 3 months.
Like, I was just like, no idea.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
I just told my boys, don't make me a grandfather till I'm 50. But now I'm starting to realize.
Now you're
that-
2 years away from 50.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh crap, shit's real now.
It was
Yeah,
like,
she got real quick. Huh?
Yeah.
You
And
think they
they
got
owe-
it on your calendar? On the calendar, just like
they,
Well,
almost
and
50.
then
I
one
just said it as a passing joke when they started dating when they were 14, 15, you know?
but now they own more guns than you
Yeah.
in your own house.
Yep.
yeah. And here's the other thing is like neither of them is in a long-term relationship, right?
No. My oldest, he ended his long-term relationship. This is what I credit him for because sometimes still my boys. I don't remember off the top of my head. There's 5 things you cannot disagree with your future spouse. You absolutely cannot disagree. You know, it's basically finances, religion. You're gonna have a family or not in the future, and there's 2 other ones that are pretty important. And they disagreed. They had a conversation, and they disagreed on 3 out of the 5.
What
And
are
I'm like,
what the other 2?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself.
okay, so the other 2 would be
Family, religion.
how you're going to spend time with each other's various families, right? How you
Oh, how
flip-flop.
close y'all are going
Okay.
to be.
You know,
and-
because
yeah.
sometimes
and
like you're-
holidays.
correct, yeah,
on
I mean
holidays.
that you guys agree you're going to plan, and then that you guys have same core values. You know what I'm saying? So,
What do you mean by core values?
so like you know what you guys agree what's right from wrong, what's bullshit. Avoid basically it's like it's called a drama test, right?
Yeah.
And that you guys can effectively communicate, and you're going to have disagreements, but it's not going to be over petty shit. If you actually having like a disagreement, it's real, and you guys need to have a talk. It's not over who didn't make the bed or who didn't do the dishes shit. you know.
Typically, if it's over petty shit, that means there's something else going wrong
Correct.
and the petty shit's just building.
Correct. So
Right.
like they were aligned on that one, but they were not aligned on religion. They were not aligned on kids, which my son, he wants like 4 or 5 kids, and she wants none. But
Oh,
she
that's
wants,
not gonna fly.
but she wanted none because it's going to have a bad impact on the environment.
What the fuck?
And I remember sitting there, I'm like, really?
Did you not slap her ass the moment she said that?
Well, I try what I always try to do, especially because she was 21 at the time, right? And I was like, hey, explain that to me. Break that down to me. And I think I got her to see some light because I'm not trying to change her mind all in one go because that's not going to work, right? But I'm like, I want you to think about X, think about Y, think about Z.
Don't care about the environment. The environment has no sway on,
exactly.
and the way we fight has no sway on it.
Damn, bro.
But he, he thought really logically. He'd been with this girl since his sophomore year in high school. They had a small breakup for about 6 months for whatever reason.
Oh yeah, and then he ended up back with her, right?
Yep, they got back together. Which I was like, I told him like, I'm not gonna tell you.
Well,
what
I mean,
to do.
that's not a good choice. That's never a good choice.
Yeah, but I'm like, hey,
Because
listen, I'm
like
not
you
gonna
guys
tell you
broke
what
up for a reason.
But hey,
has the reason changed?
He didn't get her pregnant.
Nope.
And that means that you taught your son the right lesson.
Yeah. So
as a father to a son.
And I think they were reaching where, he was going to be entering his senior year. She was going to be entering her senior year. I think she was because of some COVID shit and whatnot, she was about 6 months ahead of him, even though they graduated the same high school year. So she's going to graduate earlier. And so he already understood without me even saying to him, it's like, hey, once this ends, we need to make a decision on our future. Are we staying together? What are we doing? Because you start thinking about
that scared the shit out of her, I bet.
Well, no. It's just like how my son thought because when you were somebody, they've been together for like 5 years at this point, right?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a valid thing.
It's like, hey, where are we going, right? Because do I invest more time into this or not?
The one thing my parents always said, getting into a relationship, it's going in 2 ways.
Mm-hmm.
One is marriage.
Yep.
The other is you're breaking up.
Yeah.
So I went into every relationship ever. It was like, okay, where do I see myself in 6 months?
Yeah.
Do I see myself potentially wanting to propose to her?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, it's the latter.
Probably
I'm
should
breaking
be
up.
out of this relationship.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why I didn't have extensive relationships because at the end of the day, a lot of the women that I got with, I mean, I thought I was attracted to them, but long
Physically,
term,
but long term, they're ugly.
yeah, and so that's why what is it going on to like 2 years here now, just chill
Dry
out
spell.
has been. I don't want to call it a dry spell.
That's what
because-
it's called now.
Well, that is what it's called now, but it implies something different than what
Yeah.
it is.
Because it's by choice.
It really is by choice because realistically, I could put myself back on the market. I don't think any of us.
It doesn't change the
deny.
wording of it. It's still a dry
Well,
spell.
It's a reset of focus.
But it also changes the perspective of what we're looking for here.
If I kill someone that does something wrong to my wife or kid,
Here
am
we
I
go.
any less a murderer or am I still a murderer?
You're still.
So
It
you're-
depends on what language you're using. Because if you look at the Hebrew and
Did we
like
just
biblical
skydive into another
standpoint,
plane? I'm a
there
little
are two
lost.
separate words.
So
One
you're
word is
still in
murder,
a
and one
dry
word
spell.
is
He's just
kill.
trying to make an argument for argument's sake. That's
I
all
know,
that's
You're
going
still
on
in a
right
dry
now.
spell.
Oh,
It
well,
doesn't-
Okay, yes.
A dry spell sounds like all I'm trying to do is fuck.
I don't
not
care
trying
how
to
it-
get into a
I
relationship.
don't care how it sounds. One way or another, that is the word used.
Okay, he's got
Yeah,
on technicality. He
he's-
does.
Technically, he's
Yeah,
right.
he's
He
right.
won't let me finish my
I know,
argument
I know.
against it.
I'm with
He's
you.
got to be right. He's got to
I
be
mean, like
always right all the
Futurama
time.
said,
It's-
technically right is
Hey,
the best kind of
Hey,
right.
some people need a dry spell though. I mean, they should do that.
Agreed.
Well,
Before I met
you
my
know,
wife, I was on a
Yeah,
Our
3
yes.
one friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love them to death.
We love him to death, but and because I know you're
know
watching
you are.
this.
We love you, man.
By the way, I love how you write certain things.
He does too.
He's
All
very
right.
skilled.
Hey,
All right.
that's intermission right there.
I assumed it was
Fucking
y'all too.
racist.
Yeah, clearly.
we got four white guys on here.
I'm sure none of us has ever suffered from main character syndrome.
Move.
Oh fuck, man. You talk about so I'm gonna admit to something, right?
I'm not even white.
I'm gonna admit to something. when I was younger, I totally wanted to be like a main character, right?
I
Like,
could see that. You've
I
read
wanted,
enough books.
I wanted like I wanted to be Harry Potter, right?
I
When
can see that.
Okay.
When I was younger, but like now
The
that
cowboy version.
it was like
Howdy.
it was like when I crawled over like 26 or 27, like somewhere in that age, where I was like, fuck, I would hate being a main character. Being a main character is the shittiest fucking thing in the world. And I was like, even like I've thought about this. It's like if I had like some magical princess or someone show up and be like, we want you to be the hero, I'd be like, yeah, you can fuck off with that shit.
Are you not the main character for your own life now, though?
No, I'm not. I'm just another fucking NPC, just like everyone fucking else. Okay?
For your own life?
Yes, for my own life. I'm just another fucking dude out there, just living his life, being me.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still stuck on Cowboy Harry Potter because all I'm thinking is Hank Hill, rectal propane. Like, and I need that from you. I really do. Like, if that's an option for a movie deal, like take that.
Aber cadaver.
Avada Kedavra. Howdy.
The Texan Harry Potter. That'd be amazing.
Howdy, partner. I'm an exchange student. Woo! Look at that there dragon you got there, son.
So
Ah,
I can rope it.
pretty funny we're joking about Harry Potter because me and my daughter just finished the second book
Yeah.
in the series. It's an audiobook, fine, but I only listen to it with her. And if she falls asleep in the car, it pauses. I'm not going to continue it. Finish the second book to the point she makes like faces when things happen, so I know she's listening to what's going on. So at this point, if you haven't read Chamber of Secrets and you don't know what's going on, it's kind of on you.
Yeah.
But
Rob.
I saw the movie.
It.
Close.
I hate to break this to you,
I already know.
but yeah, I'm gonna finish the statement regardless.
Yep.
However, the movies do not necessarily correlate to the books.
Yep.
I know that's a shock.
No, I know. Fair.
But
fair.
Harry Cropper,
Harry Crocker.
Harry Potter grabs the Phoenix's tail and his hand feels warm and she goes, and I was like, well, I didn't think that was a whoa moment. But then they get there and then Dumbledore asks Professor, dude that lost his mind, I can't remember his name ever. He's
Lockhart?
Lockhart, the
No,
fake.
that was Lockhart. Wasn't there until
he at the end of the book.
at the end of Chamber of
Dumbledore
Secrets. My bad.
asks-
I forgot you said Chamber of Secrets. I'm gonna just walk out into that field and kill myself. I'm not a true Harry Potter fan.
Jokes
now.
on you, we don't have a field over there. That's like
That's because
10
we're at
feet of
your
grass.
house and you live in where? Suburbia, which
Suburbia.
was apparently a surprise
to my wife.
to your wife.
Well,
Really?
that's fine. But yeah,
You were there.
It was at the pool.
It was at the pool. At the Herbie.
Yeah, but I might have been inside with the baby.
I'm just gonna say that you weren't, just to make you look dumb.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. I don't know how I've forgotten. I was definitely there. I can't believe.
But
How dare I?
me and my daughter have now finished the second book, and she is thrilled every time we're listening to an audiobook. The other audiobook that I'm listening to, because I don't know how to read, is Trailer Park Trickster by David R. Slayton.
So you're continuing the series.
I'm continuing the series, book 2. They've continued on a lot of things, and they've dove deeper into stuff that was just like
briefly
briefly talked
covered.
about. They've really touched on his Norman, Shawnee connection of Oklahoma.
That's weird. If only we knew someone from Shawnee, Oklahoma, that'd be, very relatable for that person.
And they talk about how trashy
If only there was
Shawnee
someone
is.
here who looked like they were from Shawnee, Oklahoma.
I mean, if there was a look, it would probably be this, 100%. For those of you who don't know, yeah, I'm from there.
So I got an hour left. The book's, it's continued the story very well. Like, at this point, it's not even really a spoiler because you can read the titles.
Yeah.
He is a warlock at this point because he saved the world.
Wait, okay. How does that relate to them being warlocks?
Because warlock comes down to the point of you did something that wasn't supposed to originally be done with normal magic. You become a warlord the way you broke the law of magic.
So this is a different form of.
Yes.
It's a different world of magic.
Correct, which is one reason I'm really enjoying this, because it's not normal
A
magic.
different take on that.
So, but now there's a new big bad, and it's a druid. And the third book talks about druid something.
Yeah.
So in an hour after I finish this book, I'll jump into that book. But it's pretty good. I mean, pretty simple book talk. Me and my daughter finished book 2 of Harry Potter. Started book 3. And aside from that, it's pretty interesting.
I think that's awesome. I think, no lie, Mike knows I'm not a huge reader, but I can probably almost say, if audiobooks were a thing when I was younger, I may have gotten into it more.
They were
Because
cassette.
it's one of those things. They may have been back then, but it's not like it is. It's
I
so
didn't.
easy
I
now.
didn't like them when it was that way.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Well, for me, I always enjoyed when I heard stories.
Yep.
I always enjoyed that. It was always fun. Because sometimes I'll start reading, and it's just something I've always done since I was a kid. I actually read out loud to myself.
I read
know.
Grimm's fairy tales to my daughter every
Yeah.
night.
Because if I say it out loud, even if it's just in a soft voice, I have a big retention. I retain everything. So, but I think if I would have heard it that way, I might have gotten a little bit more into reading. And that is a skill I'm hoping to actually develop as I get older.
I can see that. I really can.
Well, I know when I hit retirement and stuff like that, I need to fill my time. Hobbies are going to be one thing, but I need to fill my time, and reading actually can take a lot of time.
Well, it's the
you know.
imagination piece.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of
It'll
people,
keep your brain active, and I know I need to keep my brain active.
and your
So-
vocabulary.
Yeah.
What is you realize that you do well, and I've been trying to convince you for a while now
Yeah.
to do audiobooks.
Yep.
Right? So what is stopping you from doing audiobooks now?
Well, probably because I find I have these segments where I find new passions, and I go all.
What do
Kinda
you
how
do on your car ride to work?
Actually, right now I've been doing Pimsleur Japanese lessons.
Yeah,
Um,
he's
okay.
going to Japan again.
So
soon,
very similar aspect. You are
exactly.
learning something
Yep.
from point A to point B
Yes,
that is already dead time.
yes, yeah, and I also know that so I'll mix it up a little bit because if I'm in a mind frame where my brain does not, I know my brain's firing. My brain's firing. I'm doing the Pimsleur stuff.
Okay.
And days where I'm a little bit dead, I'm just listening to a sports podcast,
So
and that probably could be with a book.
So something I want to talk to about books and audiobooks, and obviously I'm more of a fan of books
Mhm.
than audiobooks, but I do both because imagination is all about that. Right? But I think the most important thing I can say to people about why they should read books or listen to books is because it introduces you to concepts that you would never have thought of or
Mhm.
necessarily been introduced to on your day-to-day life.
Agreed.
And I mean I've delved into philosophical stuff and scientific stuff, all sorts of different theories and weird stuff that I never would have been introduced to,
Yeah.
except for the fact that I invest myself so much into reading. And as a result of this, it expanded my horizon way past where I would have been introduced to things in just my day-to-day life.
Mhm.
And that's very important.
No, I agree. And again,
That's why I want everyone to.
yeah, I think it's an important life skill, for sure. It's something that I definitely it wasn't really pushed on me a lot as a kid. I mean, they made sure I learned how to read and I understand reading comprehension, but it wasn't really celebrated, for lack of a better term. So it wasn't discouraged, but it wasn't highly encouraged. And then because, especially when I was in school, they've assigned a 60-page reading assignment for a night, and most of my classmates can do that in 20 minutes. And I'm like,
You want me to read a?
that's going to
60
take
pages?
me 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna take me so much longer.
Yeah,
Whereas they would assign a book and I would be done with the book
yeah.
that night.
So I would get frustrated and some stuff like that. So, it's one of those, we all have things, we have hurdles we have to come over. And I know that's a hurdle that I really need to conquer, especially before I retire, because that's something I need to do.
My biggest
So-
thing always to attach to your point was, if it wasn't intellectual, if it didn't actually happen, I wasn't interested. If it was
good point.
fiction, I wasn't interested.
Yeah.
But if it's an audiobook, I love fiction.
Yeah.
But reading it, forced to read it,
Mhm.
it needed to be real.
So, continuing on with the audiobooks, before podcast, you said that you were reading or listening to something.
Yeah, so the series I'm into right now is called The Road to Mastery. I'm actually on the second book. It's by Valeria, and
Full name is Valeria?
I believe so.
I just want to make sure we actually
Yeah.
give credit. And yeah, no, it's
Yeah, and then narrated by
Valerios, performed by Jeremy Fraser.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
her. Jeremy
So-
Fraser has done
So
books. we've
is
listened.
Valeria? Is this a web novel that they turned into a book series?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked into it. It is that type of book, though.
Because I know that especially Amazon has taken a lot of web novels
Very much so.
and turned them into book series, and they use the pen name for the web novel that the author had for the web novel for the book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the thing is, there's so many. Like, the genre has kind of exploded, partially from some recent successes, with like just video game-esque books.
Yeah, all right, lit RPG.
Yeah, lit RPG just in general, and that's what this is. It's lit RPG along with some DAO specifically. So like the whole thing about DAO is it's just like the like Eastern kind of meditate on like what your worldview is or like what you want to focus on, and by learning something about that you gain power essentially. So you have leveling and then you have DAO, two different power scalings that let you kind of get stronger, which
Okay, so that goes into the Eastern magic cultivation
basically, yeah.
theory. Yeah, so it's the same thing, but now they have, because I've actually talked about some web novels and some other stuff on this podcast that relate.
Yeah, and that's why I started listening to it.
So what's the series called again?
It's I just said it and I've already
You
forgotten.
just said it and I forgot it. My
Road to
bad.
Mastery.
Road to Mastery.
By
I swear
Valerius?
I've read it.
So I started it because it was one of those series where it was about leveling up, and I like make numbers get big. Yeah, I'm all about that. It's a simple book, idea concept, but through storytelling, you can easily just expand upon an entire universe. I stayed with the series.
I'm sending it now.
I stayed with the series because of just one funny note. The main character, small spoilers, he ends up spawning, like, a dungeon gets spawned around him whenever the system comes down.
No, I think I know exactly the series you're talking about.
In that dungeon, there's a particular enemy. It's supposed to be an enemy that he fights. And he sees them, and it's called gym monkeys. Gym monkeys are literally monkeys that are super buff, and the only thing that they do to fight is throw poop at you, which is hilarious. So at the time that he meets the gym monkeys,
Which
he's-
is the statement you were saying
Yeah.
earlier
Yeah.
off podcast.
he's too weak, so he runs away. He comes back and he's like, all they did was throw poop at me. What if I can befriend them now that I'm strong? So he goes to them and he flexes because he's way higher level than all the gym monkeys. They're like, follow us.
Yeah, bro.
And he takes them to some bro-rillas. Big old gorillas who really like lifting weights and like just the way of the bro. Like one bro-rilla meets another one, they both
Chads.
nod, and then they immediately flex into like
do a flex
yeah,
off.
yeah, they do a flex off to greet each
Dude,
other.
I'm all about
All right,
this life.
let's all do it here.
Fuck yeah, bro.
So then you find like the mini boss of their section. It's a big bro-rilla because he's so much stronger than everyone else. He's the big bro. He only nods once to everybody in the group because he's special or whatever. I love this like enemy that becomes friends. Like, it is the best. And like they decided to like appropriately give these enemies some culture. The big bro-rilla,
Yeah.
his name is now Harambe.
Oh, yeah.
Harambe is back. And
Brosaurus Rex, Harambe.
it's beautiful. Needless to say, Harambe entrusts his son to the main character. And so, like, I'm only on the second book, but apparently throughout the rest of the books, Harambe's son is with the main character, and it's the best.
Hold on, while we got a good angle on it, I want to point out that I did deck my dogs out in their Halloween costumes this year,
Bad dog.
which is Bat Dogs.
Yeah. As a Batman fan, I
And we're gonna be doing as has become tradition because it's the third year now.
Yep.
Halloween at Dudding's place, handing out candy
Nice.
with the dogs and a couple beers.
Enjoy. I will be walking around with a cart around here
Oh yeah,
with a couple beers while my kid goes door
Because
to
you have
door.
a small child. Congratulations.
as you should.
As you should.
Listen,
As you should.
Or I'll bring out my
I don't know if you-
alcoholic Camelback.
I don't know if you walked around last year. It's very important that you learn this lesson very early on. There's this thing called dad tax. So whenever you go trick-or-treating, it's important that you test for poison. And you dad tax the
Yes.
candy.
You know what you're telling me? All it sounds like
I mean,
is you're gonna have to come down and dad tax this.
It-
or
it
Mike's
sounds
gonna have
like-
to come over
Yeah.
and
It
dad
is a
tax it.
sacrifice I am willing
yeah,
to make.
I'm
Especially the Reese's cups. You gotta tax those. For
So you
sure.
gotta understand,
you
I don't
know.
eat that much candy.
I don't, but it's
Yeah,
Halloween.
only that time of year.
No, even
I never
then.
said you
Yeah.
had to be a dictator who like takes a
No.
lot of taxes. Just small tax.
Just a little bit.
Dad tax is different from dictator.
Yeah.
I will say that I have 18 pounds of candy, as opposed to last year I had
Holy
15
crap! Okay,
You had that many visitors, or
Well,
was
We're
this for
giving
you?
out handfuls.
I got
My
12.
My problem is that Dudding likes to be very strategic about how much candy he hands out.
and
Uh-huh.
Mike does not
And
want to be
I
strategic.
like to grab as much candy fits in
Look,
my hand.
It's
Just-
a claw game.
Just
for your
hold up
hand.
your hand, because we know one's 6 foot,
Yeah.
one's not 6
Yeah.
foot.
Valid.
Like,
well, and I'm a 6-piece guy, so they get 6 pieces. Which I think is pretty generous.
I am.
He just
a-
grabs whatever I can grab.
when
What
we were at the
fits in my hand?
two-story house,
Yeah.
we served at the food bank, and they had all these candy bars, but they didn't want the candy bars given out at any place they were distributing it.
Yeah.
So every volunteer got a pallet of candy bars.
Oh no!
Palette.
A pallet of normal size candy. So for the next year, I was handing out. So for Halloween, oh, here you go. Here's 2 candy bars.
That word
Oh,
spread fast.
you have parents. 5 candy bars. 2 for you, 3 for every. I'm handing out handfuls of full-on candy bars.
Now, one thing I want to incorporate this year, I need to keep some dad beers or mom beers around. Like,
Yeah, I
hey,
definitely want to keep
So,
some dad and mom beers.
The cool
around.
thing I like about the local liquor stores, you can buy the little shots
Yeah.
for cheaper. I think like a week before Halloween.
Really?
So look around for the sales.
Okay.
Dude, let's
Buy
get,
those,
like
Yeah.
little,
you can-
like candy, like
Now it's
adult
still
bucket.
Jello shots for
it's
the parents.
still about $2, but if
Yeah.
you buy the
That's
multi-pack
whatever.
of Jello shots,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now it's
Here
like
you go,
kids. It
parents.
was like,
Treat for
okay,
you.
obviously you have a kid, you have a
You're here, bro.
Hey,
You're
you're not
here.
driving, you're walking.
You're
It's
not-
all good.
Your knees are feeling this, and I know they are.
Yeah.
and just boom. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, if I'm gonna get to that point where I'm just gonna be like, so you look like a gin and tonic guy.
I could totally see you having a mixing chill. Just like sitting out there and being
Yeah.
like, here you go, bro. Here's a solo cup, gin and tonic.
Yep.
Don't tell me. I know what you want. It's fine. I got this.
Okay, so
So
we've gone
let's
through.
get to Mike's book talk.
We've gone through a lot of book talks.
Yep.
So I've been continuing to read a series I've already talked about before.
I think you're at book what 5?
Different series.
Shocker.
Done.
I'm at book 43 in that series.
What? There's a book series of 43 books?
It was a web novel that's been turned into a book series.
Ah,
So it's actually
Um,
book 2, but it's web novel
And that's
372.
it does make more sense.
Okay, hold up.
We need
let me
Aardvark
find
on here,
find that one
'cause
for
he
you.
reads.
I think I've already talked about it on podcast.
So 43 of these like
Shadow Slave.
shadows.
Yes.
Okay.
Shadow Slave. Guilty 3.
Okay.
So if you're interested, that's a good progression one. Not necessarily lit RPG, but when we talk about progression, it's close to lit RPG,
I
right?
got you.
So if you're interested in progression series, that's
Yep.
a very good one. That's a very enjoyable.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be levels. I'm with you.
And it's very dark, and it's very what's the word I'm looking for? HG, like Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Ah,
Very Lovecraftian.
I got you.
You know what I mean when I say
No.
Lovecraftian?
Is it Lovecraft like the TV series that came out recently?
I haven't
didn't
seen
even
the
know a TV series came out.
So
with
HBO did a
Lovecraft.
series called Lovecraft. It was a kind of a horror thing.
So
It
Lovecraft
sounds loosely close to it, but
Yeah.
I feel like they took more of the Hollywood approach to it than
yeah,
the literal approach to it.
They took a lot of liberties with the I don't want to call them extraterrestrial or something characters that were being there as far as they were the scary things. So it was interesting, but it was kind of like
So
Yeah.
the way I try to describe Lovecraft to people, in Lovecraftian horror, is Lovecraftian horror is a description of horror, like, because you're not describing what horror is, you're describing the effects of horror on an individual.
Gotcha.
And normally there's also a lot of
Hentai?
Similar.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. You
Shocker!
you
I'm
fucking
a Japanese wife. What do
freak.
you
You Japanese freak. You
yeah.
take that fucking to Japan, you
Hey
weirdo.
man,
I
you think
love how
tentacles,
he
you don't think
how he
hentai, what's
slammed
wrong
you,
with
and I said the same thing.
Exactly.
There's gonna be surround sound
At least
when
he
he
has
listens.
an excuse. I mean,
Well, my first exposure to
Why
it
do
actually was
you know about tentacle porn?
I just heard you say tentacle. I didn't hear you say porn.
I was in a tech school dorms and somebody was playing a video of it and I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Move it slightly. Handle.
It was
Twist
shocking
it
all
left.
at the time.
Slightly twist it left. Yep. There you go.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. So, anyways, the series I'm going to talk about is a superhero series, not about a superhero.
Okay.
It's called The Fiasco in the News by Stephen Morse. Let me double check that I've got the right series. No, go back to the thing. Go back to the thing.
the fiasco in the news.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye.
Stephen Morse.
Superhero, but not a.
It's a superhero book, not about a superhero.
Yeah.
It's about the sidekick. I have no idea. I'm just making things
That'd
up.
be cool.
So it's a superhero universe, right?
Okay.
You know, people got superpowers. Some people fly. Some people got
Ratchet and
X-ray
Clank,
vision,
yeah.
Yeah.
whatever, right? Well, there's this one person who has a superpower, and his superpower is that no matter what incident he gets involved in, no matter how dangerous the incident is, he will survive it.
Okay.
That's his power?
Yeah, he's immortal because everything works out to where it won't kill him for one reason or another.
You always have one extra HP point.
And
Sure.
it's not, he doesn't even get.
So it's
Like-
a probability power.
Yeah, nothing will happen to him. If someone does try to hurt him, like, things will get out of hand very quickly and disasters happen, right? And so we are essentially following this poor schmuck through his life. Also, his girlfriend is Alice in Wonderland, and he gets stuck in one.
Because of course he does.
Because of course he does, because he's got very, very, because, his girlfriend's going to be a semi-homicidal little girl, right?
Yep.
Or teenage
Here-
girl.
Here's the question I have to ask about this series. In your opinion, based on what you've read so far, is he the luckiest man in the world or the unluckiest?
Unluckiest man in the world.
For sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
1000% unluckiest man in the world.
Man.
And it's not like something I'm gonna go back to time or anything like that. But I've read it twice in the
mean,
5
pretty good.
years since I first read it.
No, you think about it. I don't know anything about the book, but it's the people that think they want to live forever, and then they realize they only live forever to see everybody they know die, and you're like, that's a fucking horrible place to be.
Yeah, I mean, no, congratulations. You now get to experience the worst of everything all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he is the unluckiest man in the world. And there is actually a government mandated statement that you're not allowed to fuck with him. I'm not making this up. Like, the government has said, and the insurance companies have said, that he is an act of God, and everything that happens around him, any interaction with him that goes negatively is.
You want to know what the problem with that statement? To every villain ever, that sounds like a challenge.
Yeah, except
which then causes.
except
He's a
that
magnet.
for every villain ever, normally the villain will end up getting the short end of the stick when they fuck with him.
Oh yeah.
But it
I'm
does
gonna be the
still
one.
sound like a challenge.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
I'm
still
gonna be
sound
the
like a
one.
challenge. Yeah.
I'll be the
The
guy.
unkillable man. I'm going to be the one to kill him. Kills him.
Oh, we
Yeah.
were talking about that earlier with sweet potato something. You right brought it up. It was
Oh,
like,
sweet potato casserole. I hate it.
And I was like, well, everything I've ever made, Goose has at least tried once. At least once.
Okay.
And I was like, most of the time, 90% of the time, it's good. I mean, I'd made sweet carrots. Pretty much yams, but instead of sweet potatoes, it's
Yeah.
carrots.
Yeah.
It was good because it didn't
was-
have sweet
I
potatoes.
was like, oh, it's good.
What's wrong
Oh.
with
I hate sweet potatoes.
I don't like sweet potatoes either. I was going to either.
Either?
Either.
I was going to let it float, but you
no,
won't.
no, I'm gonna call myself on it. But I was gonna ask what's wrong with y'all.
I just don't like sweet potatoes.
Yeah,
So,
it's just the taste. It's
I
not even
do-
a texture thing. It's 100% the taste.
So it is the taste. I need to tell y'all about our coworker.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay.
So
I feel
no.
I have to make sweet potatoes for all of you, but
Hold
okay.
on.
Just so you
He's-
know, every
he's
person
on a
knows.
health kick.
I said
So he does sweet potatoes plain.
Oh God, plain.
He's jumped down the
Plain.
sweet potato diet. I
Plain.
get it.
Plain.
Nope.
Nothing.
no
Understand.
butter.
No butter, no,
no-
cinnamon,
yeah.
no salt, no pepper,
Oh, no.
nothing.
I
There's-
cannot be close enough to this mic. Are you telling me the truth right now?
We
No,
see
no,
it
no,
every
no.
day. And I
Just
say
this
to
person-
him, "Oh, you're doing your sad potato again." huh?"
Microwave
sad
it
potato.
and hush.
Yeah.
Have you made sure to check in on him regularly in case, like, is he okay? Like, are you sure?
No, I mean,
You might
he's
wanna-
got some issues. By the way, think about it right now. Aneurysm.
Wow. Don't do this to the man. Come on, just don't. Don't.
You know, someone who's not going to understand the reference is going to be like, what? Am I having one? I'm confused.
If it's not,
That's-
look,
yeah.
you know what? If you heard the shot, it wasn't for you. that's the best way to describe
Yeah.
that one.
All right, but I think that's a good spot for intermission right there.
Yeah, sweet potatoes are disgusting.
Oh
Agreed.
God.
So,
Oh, I love rum too. Like a good Jamaican or anything south of
Yeah.
America spiced rum. Oh man, I'm
parents-
all about that.
I was so upset my parents came home from Jamaica, like on like a cruise thing, and they had this really nice expensive rum. I didn't get to try it, and I was very upset.
Those motherfuckers, they can fuck
No,
right
I-
the fuck off.
I love them.
Yeah,
and I
that
understand.
doesn't
You're
mean that they
disappointed.
can't
I'm
fuck
very
off.
disappointed.
Disappointed.
And I kind of get it because it was expensive, and it's not like they're gonna go there all
Define
the time.
expensive.
Yeah, but that,
I mean, it was at least $75. I don't know if it
Oh,
was.
that's not expensive.
that's a phone call. Hey, this is
I
really good rum.
mean-
Do you want us to buy you a bottle?
I agree, and that's where I'm at. Is like y'all didn't even think about me.
$250 is expensive.
I mean, that's
right?
fair, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
how much money my dad was making at the time?
sub
I 100%
$100
agree.
is not expensive.
Yeah.
You can fuck off.
Yeah. And if it's that good, all of us would be like,
I
this is a
actually
one-time
I need to
purchase?
correct myself. I did technically try it, but I tried it in a baking good, and they
That's-
put
that's-
enough into it
that you tasted
that
it.
it didn't bake out all the way. So
Gotcha.
I actually was like, I tried one and I was like, oh, this is a rum ball that will actually mess with you.
What's a
Nice.
rum ball?
It literally, you cook rum into a pastry that's just a ball, and if you have enough rum or strong enough rum in it, it doesn't all bake out.
That's great.
And so whenever you have very high proof Jamaican rum, it doesn't all bake out.
Much
And
like
it's-
my potatoes, you need to teach me how to make that.
I need to figure out how to make it. I will ask my aunt. 'Cause she used to make them like every year, so
You did eventually get my potato recipe, right?
I did. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
I think I have it saved somewhere.
because
baked
I know
potatoes
that
are
I
so
know that
good.
was in contentions for a while, right?
Makes me want to pre-ask this question. Do you want me to get you any Japanese whiskey while I'm there?
Actually, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
They got some sake in the fridge.
Oh.
Well, so there's sake and there's Japanese whiskey, so
So
both are good.
We're hearing mixed sake with our Topo Chico.
And here you go.
Okay.
So you can splash them both
All right.
properly.
I'll make sure I ask my wife's sister is she drinks.
Yeah,
Put it
I
lightly.
mean,
So she'll know the good stuff for me to tell me to go buy.
Up to like $200.
Dude, I'm not gonna make you pay. You're taking care of my dog.
No. That's fine. If we're talking like whiskey. Anyways, I don't mind taking care of your dog.
Still, it's you're doing me a thing, I'll do you a thing. It's all good.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah. Yeah. Too easy.
I do get frustrated, moderately
take it to both
frustrated
sides?
with Rob sometimes because
Hold that.
we're friends, and as friends,
We'll put it
when
in the
he needs help, I desperately want him to be willing to verbalize to me that he needs help.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I want, right? Because we're friends. You know, I mean, Keeper does it with me, I do it with Keeper, and vice versa. And so I've been training Rob, and I'm not fucking mistaking
No.
that statement. I've been training
Yeah,
Rob to try
he's
and
not
get
wrong.
him to do
I
that.
think we all train each other towards the niceties that we like in our life.
Yeah, well, one of the things is again, growing up with a dad who was a TI and a grandpa who was
No,
TI,
well, you don't need that for that.
the concept of
It's just a
asking for
funnel.
help
For what?
For the
to say it
topo,
was frowned
to
upon
put it in the can.
Yeah.
is
Good.
putting it lightly.
Yeah.
You didn't ask for help.
Right.
If you had asked for help, that was taught me that was weakness.
Yep.
You
So
know-
a big thing for me and my little brother, what my little brother was better at than me was being able to look at what someone did
Yeah,
and piece things together, whereas I had to ask questions.
yeah,
That made me annoying
yep,
and therefore
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the favorite child.
yeah,
And so, like, very much anytime my dad was working on there's a lot of things about cars that I could have learned from my dad
Mm-hmm.
that I just never learned because he doesn't really know how to teach other than watch what I'm doing
Yeah.
and figure out the rest.
yeah,
Whereas
That's-
my little brother could do that.
yeah. And
I
that's
couldn't.
why I
Watch
think
and
I've done a
repeat.
decent job. So my teaching style is I teach 80% and then I let you finish the last 20.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
And-
I'm actually behind that. And me and him still teach differently, but there is an expectation that what I teach you, you're going to have to. And he's experienced it because
Yeah.
I've taught him before.
Twice. The motorcycle wreck, lost it all, learned it twice.
Yeah.
And,
So good, couldn't do it once.
You know, I've taught multiple admins since then, and before then,
That haven't stayed.
and that haven't. Well, I mean, all of them had reasons, and they've all gone on to better things.
Opportunities. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm not going to argue against any of that.
Well,
Oh no, I'm
I
not
always looked at it too. Like,
stating against it.
I'm getting 80. If you're not willing to put in that 20, you're not worth my investment in time.
I have only had
Valid.
one useless admin. Great guy, not you. One
man,
u-
I was
one
striving for it.
useless admin since I have worked in my work center. And by the time he left, I give him props because by the time he left, he was, he came in, retired command sergeant major. So he didn't want to fucking listen to me, right? Because I was too young and I was a specialist and blah, 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 blah. By the time he left, he was like, if Mike says that this is the way it should be, then that's the way it should be.
Yep.
And I give him mad props because that is a fundamental change in a relatively short period of time because
Yeah.
he was there for less than a year, right?
Yeah.
So, have we funneled him with the rum? The Barbados rum.
I don't think we funneled him with the rum. Where's the funnel?
All right, here's the funnel. So
I'm not going to lie, it changes the flavor
It
and I like it
changes
a lot.
topo. And the craziest thing, it changes if you choose
Which one,
dark
clear
rum
or dark?
or clear rum.
Which one did I get?
You got the clear rum.
Oh,
like
shit.
it.
Hang on. Let me open this up.
Yeah, you got to open up a little bit more. It's the smallest funnel I got. By the way, $10 for that funnel on Amazon. I got like a 4-pack.
Okay.
Does amazing things.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but I will
Amazon?
always key tag out. You just got to pull it out. It's silicone. But before we go too far down this rabbit hole,
Yep.
we have topics we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
do. We
Is
We,
it-
we
And-
always
and
get.
those will- and
Is
I
it-
definitely want to talk about.
But tell me,
No, absolutely.
tell me how that changes the flavor profile real quick.
All right.
Because right now we are drinking Topo with the splash of rum, and it changes the ball game completely.
Oh yeah,
It's
bro.
significantly better.
Yeah, bro.
Now, if you like this and you're not looking for a higher buzz or a higher alcohol
That's
content,
dangerous.
now grab a Topo and throw it with like a lemonade.
Yeah, if you mix a topo with the lemonade.
My favorite seltzers are the lemonade seltzers.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
If
Don't
you
even compare.
If you
Okay.
take no, it's not even
Oh, no,
a
I agree.
comparison. If you put a topo in just lemonade, it's like just incredible.
okay,
It changes it completely.
okay.
So
I happen to have lemonade at the house. So.
If you do like a pink lemonade,
oh, game over.
God, game on.
And I wanted to see how cheap you can get very cheap. You can
That
do
is
stupid powder,
Just so good, right?
that's fantastic.
but
I want more, but
and
I'll wait.
topo
I'll wait till the next
is
intermission.
amazing. Now, Mike, you brought up a topic you want to talk about, and we have Rob here.
Wait, I brought up all the topics, bro.
Not true. My name's on there twice at least.
At least.
3 times. I can count 3.
So I did want, and I explicitly stated in our notes that if Rob was here,
Yes.
that I wanted this one.
Verbatim. Assuming Rob is there, period. This is the topic.
Yep.
I wanted to bring up adults playing video games.
Yep.
And the reason I wanted to bring this up is because Rob has very, very strong opinions about adults playing video games. So Rob, can you take this away real quick?
Sure. This is particularly those. This is my. I played my last video game in 2004.
Last night.
Okay.
For me.
It's the last time I played. And what I realized at the time was I was not having my energy focused where it should be, and so I think because
Where should it have been focused?
I had 2 young kids.
I understand where you're coming from. I do want you to continue though.
Sure. 2 young kids at the time, right? And I realized, wait, I just spent like 2 hours on this game and my kids were awake. And I felt this overwhelming sense of guilt.
Okay.
I wasted 2 hours I could have spent with my boys and I'm like, what am I doing, right? So, and why I always encourage, I take the extreme. I say, especially for fathers, you shouldn't play video games anymore. Because
And this is where I'm going to disagree.
yeah,
Continue
I mean,
with your statement.
and I hear what you're saying. And I'm think of it as a.
This is the because. What is the because?
Because it can become so addictive that you lose frame and access of time.
Yes, I can 100%
Yeah.
agree on that because.
And I think because so many grew up with video games, that they can lose 6 hours, 4
Like
hours
that.
like that.
Agreed. Now, what I was always taught,
Yep.
when your wife's awake, when your kid's awake,
Yep.
this is their time. You're
Yes.
I'm the man of the household.
Yes.
I'm the only man in my household.
Yep.
I don't have a son.
Yeah.
When I have a son, cool, it'll be different. And I was like, look, when I wake up in the morning and no one else is awake,
Yep.
this is my time.
Yeah.
Now, when they're awake or I'm at work, what am I doing? I'm working.
Yep.
When I come home, I'm the man of the house.
Yep.
I'm being the husband, the dad. Now, when they go to bed
Yep.
or my wife's reading her book, now it's my time.
Yep.
So you're right. It might be 8, 9, 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
but this is where I play video games.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think you fall, and other people fall into this too, where you can fall into a point where you're able to manage your time correctly, and segment things correctly.
Correct.
And I think my fear is.
I think the
and my
majority though
observation has been,
is your staple.
Yeah, too many people
Fall into the crutch
fall
of
into this, right?
So from my perspective, that sounds like essentially army proofing marriage.
Kind of.
And I get it.
Without a
And,
doubt.
and here's
Yeah,
the thing.
without a
This is
doubt.
coming from someone who has fallen into that pit trap and
Yep.
been the epitome of I'm not being the father that I need to
Yep.
be for my daughter at the time.
Yep.
And I was in a state of just like, I had just gotten out of the military. It was like 2017.
Yep.
I was, struggling with mental health. And it's like the only way that I could cope was to essentially escape from my reality. And the way
No,
I did
yeah.
that was through video games.
Yeah.
And to an extent, if you're someone who's going through something like that
Yep.
in that moment, like you're not where you need to be mental health wise.
Yeah.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, assuming that you do, or like you get to a point where you learn proper coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
And you learn proper time management, that's where I would then get to where I disagree, but more from the standpoint of just not having to cut it wholeheartedly unless you're the type of person who literally can't manage
Yeah.
or like you're addicted to video games to the extent that you can't just play like 1 or 2 hours, or you can't
Correct.
just play whenever the kids are asleep.
Correct.
Things like that.
Yeah.
And my opinion on this being is that I think it's very important that, okay, yes, you dedicate the primary amount of time to your family, but that you don't become tied into, because I feel like Rob has become tied into it, is like his statement is adults don't play video games. That was his statement to me.
Yes.
But however, I will state that I think adults should play video games.
So,
And Ash
yeah.
Daddy was a perfect example of this. I went out of my way to introduce him to video games that he could play, specifically Stardew Valley. The man spent tons of time on Stardew Valley. Now, he was not very mobile, right?
No.
He was
Yes.
on dialysis.
Yeah.
He had severe issues and everything like that. And playing Stardew Valley helped to engage his mind, because if he wasn't sitting there playing the video game, all he would have been doing is sitting there watching cable TV and watching the umpteenth billionth time of, Ancient Aliens, right? Because, you talk about
yeah.
brain rot. There we go,
And
Ancient Aliens.
This is what
Yeah.
I want to target.
Sure.
What is the selfish thing I do for myself daily? Because
Yep.
I even push this when I counsel people, and when I talk to many people, it's like, what is the one selfish thing you do for yourself every day? Oh, well, I take a longer shower. Okay, fine. Or I work out longer. Okay, fine. That's a healthy vice.
Yep.
What is the one selfish thing you do for yourself every day?
I probably doom scroll YouTube for about 90 minutes at least.
Okay.
And no.
So this
now
is,
I will say this.
and
yeah.
I'm not saying one's
Yeah.
better than the other,
Yep.
because Goose recently had his firstborn son.
Yep.
He has a Gotham older daughter.
Yep.
But his first son,
Yep.
because I don't know, it just
They're
matters.
different.
It's completely different. but
We could pretend they're not. It's not the same.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, you want to hop on the game? He was like, yes, I have an hour about this time to this time.
Yep.
And what do? He stuck to the hour.
Yeah.
Now
And
you're
that's great.
doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Do you doom scroll for a specific time, or you could have spent that time?
Oh, absolutely.
And it's,
Absolutely.
To
And-
me, I look at that very simply as an excuse for whatever. I
Sure.
could have
Well,
done this. I could have done this. I
and-
could have done.
But I don't just look at it like that. I don't just look at what they did. I look at what the effects of what they did had on you. How many times
Yes.
have you been doom scrolling, and by the end of that doom scroll, you're like, I don't remember anything I looked at.
Yeah,
What have I
correct.
Whereas
gained?
if you would take that exact same time and you would spin it in a video game like Satisfactory, which we've played, which is where you go to an alien world.
Yep.
And you mine resources, and you build a factory, and you're trying to figure out, you're intellectually figuring out how to build this factory and build the conveyor belts to do all this different
Yep.
stuff. So you're engaging yourself as this, whereas opposed to you've essentially done the Ancient Aliens of YouTube, whereas
I
I've
was good.
doom
And it
scrolled.
does a very similar thing.
Correct.
It helps escape you from
And
where you're currently at.
I think where my message comes in is it's more as a cautionary tale. Okay, it's where I say don't, in respect to say is because a lot of people don't have the self-control, to order to set their time and do these things. And I struggled with that when I was young. I mean, one of the reasons I stopped gaming was because I punched a hole through my drywall
yeah, I could see
because
that.
I was playing online poker. I was in this tournament for 12 and a half hours.
But
and
I
I was
feel
one
like
place from winning like $1,000.
All this ties
Yep.
into the next topic we want to talk about.
Yep.
Love and duty.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, that's a perfect time.
Like,
Yeah, no.
what's more important, love or duty?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like,
Which let's encapsulate this a little bit, because
Sure.
to all of us, it's very important, and it's very prominent because we're all veterans, right?
Yep.
And we've seen it in the military community,
hands
is
down.
the choice between love and duty. And when I say love, and when we say love, we don't just mean
we're not
sexual
talking
love.
the lust.
No.
We're not talking about lust.
Talk
We're-
about brothers and everything. Yeah, there's a lot
we're
more.
talking about brotherhood.
Yep.
We're talking about
We're
familial.
talking about the different loves, phileo, agape.
Yeah.
Like we're talking your godly love where there's nothing that can stop me from loving this too.
Yep.
This is a spousal love. This is a friend love. This is a
Yep.
parental love. We were talking about all the different levels of love.
as
Yep.
opposed to the duties that your country, your job, and yourself have put upon yourself. right? Because these are all things. Because I have a different duty that I place upon myself as opposed to what my country places upon me.
Yep.
Or what my job places
We have
upon
different
me.
levels of love and duty
Yeah.
we place throughout our life.
Yep.
So,
And we talked about this on duty with
Yeah.
husband and gaming.
Absolutely.
what is more important, ultimately, love or duty?
Well, for someone to just take a stance, I'll just say
Yeah.
love.
And I would argue duty.
And I would argue love.
And I would argue duty.
Cool. We're even.
So what's very interesting is we have two scholar gentlemen biblically here at this
Yeah.
bench that have two different statements. And we have another Christian who hasn't studied to the same level.
No.
Not any less than, just hasn't
No,
studied to the same level.
I'm not saying to that level.
And then
I'm a Christian, but I may say, I hate to put this in this term, but I have to admit, I'm a soft Christian. It is the core values I believe in. I do believe that Christ, died for our sins, etc., like that. But I do have problem with the organized religion, which will be another subject later.
but
okay, but it's very interesting that 2 and 2 we have still separated on this topic of love or duty.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll start from right to left. Might as well.
So for me,
Or from left to right if you're watching us.
valid.
Ooh.
Sure.
For me, I'm basing it off of the idea that the greatest commandment that we've been given, biblically speaking, is to love, just in general. And love can very easily tie into duty, just based on giving your word. So you say you're going to do something, you should do it. Well, most of the time, whenever I give my word on something, it's usually to someone that I love. So to me, my word matters, especially when I'm talking to someone that I love. And so whenever I promise my wife something, and I look at like that promise with her versus like the word that I've given to my job, for instance, if those conflict, which one am I going to choose?
Yeah.
I've given my word, and
So
it wasn't
do you-
under the expectation that there was going to be a confliction, but because there is,
Do you consider your word a duty?
I do.
Okay.
I think that my word is a duty. It is a self-imposed duty that I have then. If I say I'm going to do something, I better do it. And an example.
No, that's excellent because I wasn't viewing that it in that aspect.
Yeah.
But
This
that
is
makes
awesome.
perfect sense.
Because this is where, if I make a handshake in Texas, I made a legal contract. What is a
Yeah.
contract? A covenant,
Yep.
biblically. What is a covenant? It's a duty. It's what
Yeah.
you will do.
Yep.
Now, when you become a Christian, biblically it states you will do this. You are now charged. What is a charge? A duty.
Duty.
It was like, for better or for worse, I am duty obligated to love my wife.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not saying that one's more important than the other. All I'm saying is duty comes as the charge, because there'll be days I wake up, I don't want to love my wife. I don't. Love is a choice.
Right.
Duty is something that you are obligated to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's days I wake up, I don't want to do anything. I just want to lay in bed and be useless.
Yep.
Like there's things that go on, I just want to not do anything. Now, I have to provide for my house. I have to love my wife. I have to be a father to my kid. I'm duty obligated, which in turn touches the love aspect.
Right.
I am obligated to love them. So they're always connected. There's not one way or the other.
So-
which
so
connects
yeah.
to what you're saying.
What were you done with your spiel though?
No, I mean, for the most part, yeah. And I, based on how he said it, I very much feel like we could very easily swap answers and still feel the exact
it'll
same
be
still
the
way.
be
exact
the
same
same.
thing.
Yeah.
Just viewed in
Because
different
I don't
lights.
see them necessarily as two things that can be completely separated.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Keeper?
I mean, I think he pretty much said it the same way. You could change the single word, duty or love. Okay, well, love is something you choose to do, and duty is something you're out of obligation to do. Okay, well, what is the obligation? Well, the obligation is the covenant, which is a duty. I decided to love my wife and marry her from girlfriend to wife, from fiance to wife. I have now made this charge. Self-induced. I decided to put a ring on my now wife's hand and make a charge, make a duty, for better or for worse, which goes into the love aspect.
Yeah.
But this is no different than the topic I had with another gentleman. Love and passion are two different things.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very
1000%.
much. Yeah.
But they're still connected.
They are, but
Which is-
one sets a precedent over the other,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Correct.
which leads into me,
Yes.
which states that love can lead to duty, but duty does not lead to love. Therefore, love takes a precedent over duty.
Okay,
Yep.
explain. I'm all ears. I'm not
Yep.
disagreeing. I'm
So,
curious.
and I'm gonna pull a little bit from what you were saying,
Awesome.
right, and contribute. But we established that love can lead to a sense of duty, right?
yes,
because
yeah,
you-
love
you
is
will-
an action. Love is a feeling.
However,
and
your country that you might not love, your county that you might not love, your government that you might not love, your family that you might not love, can all place duty upon you. But should that duty trump your love?
yes,
Because that love leads to the true duty that you want to hold yourself to. But the outside
Yes,
forces hold a duty to you.
So what
and
I've
state
noticed-
that this is your duty.
What
Yes.
I've noticed is that the difference between your perspective and ours is we 100% went internal. And you looked at it from if you were to take external forces, duty can be placed upon you,
Yeah.
whereas love cannot.
Yes.
Because it is an
Okay.
internal
Yes,
choice.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm with you.
100%.
I'm following
I'm
you.
100% with
And
you, and
this
that's
is where-
exactly
Yeah,
where we're
yeah,
at.
yeah.
you were going, and I was like, oh yes, dude, you should be placed more. But I'm looking at a moral compass based off biblical interaction.
Right.
If me as a biblical father, because we talked about this earlier
Yep.
with gaming, as a biblical father tell you to do something and it's not immoral, what should you be doing? I'm doing this to train you so I can love you through this. And now what you different aspect because very much I only look from a biblical aspect.
Right.
And I need to start
But there's a material aspect to our lives,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
incorporates duty because, I have a duty to my company to show up.
An obligation.
Does
Yeah.
that duty or obligation trump the love of my family? To me, it doesn't, and I've demonstrated that because I've been there for my family over my duty to my company.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you can't pay your bills.
Yeah, and there's one aspect, and it seems corny, but I'm telling you what, it was one thing that hit with me, and I think it's the biggest thing missing from the Air Force today. It's an Air Force core value. It was service before self, and I've put that at the cornerstone of my life since I've joined the United States Air Force.
So you state it, service before self with
And,
the
and I
military.
look at service is
and what are they not going to tell you to do?
yeah,
Immoral,
correct.
illegal.
Yep. But it's the duty that I have to my family, to my country, to my work center, to everything. And I'm extremely passionate
What is
about
greater than-
all
But-
the
but-
aspects of this.
But
And-
what service do you hold higher? The service to your family or the service to your company?
It all-
What do you
so-
love more?
So I don't look at my company is simply a vessel to supporting my country.
It's a means,
Means
to an end.
Yeah.
Correctly. That's all it is. Right? That's all it has ever been to me. As much as I enjoy some of the benefits, it could change tomorrow and I will move with it.
I've demonstrated
As
that
simple
multiple
as that.
times.
Exactly. My family's always there, but my family also understands. If the shit goes down, I have prepared them to live and move on without me because I will sacrifice on behalf of them so they do not have to give that sacrifice. And
Yeah.
my prayer is that one day my boys also understand that when they have their family, they do the same thing.
Because that is man's role in the family to be the first to fall.
And that is my duty.
Yes.
And that's
Yeah.
why I put duty before love, because love can can make us think differently and haze things up, where duty gives us focus.
But where did that duty come from? Because you stated it in your statement.
Yep.
That duty came from your love of your family. If not, then you would not put yourself to die before your family.
Even before I had a family. I would have died for this country. Period. I would have.
Because
no problem.
you love this country, or simply because you felt an obligation, general obligation?
Because I believe that if I have to sacrifice for the greater need of my people to succeed and to be safe and everything else like that, I think.
Where did that need?
That's a great question.
For those people come from? Is it just a general need? Did your family just say you should care about people and therefore you just did the thing? Are you just going off of someone's script for it?
No.
Or is it because you have a love of the people in the country that you're supporting and that you would die for?
So I don't view it as that. I believe that as an able-bodied man, I have an obligation to them.
So this is just a rule.
Yes.
And that's all you base your off of is a general rule. And you're willing to die based off of a general rule that someone put on you.
Yes.
And there's nothing else about it that matters.
No. There's a moral backing to it.
What's the moral backing?
The moral backing is I believe that we have the right cause and we are in our cause and what we are doing.
Because what we're doing is just and right.
The country or something has taken a whole nother way and they've lost their way. I can't tell you that's going to be the same. But as a general rule, we still have that today. And I believe that say if my sacrifice can save 20, 30 people, there's no question I'm doing it.
So I agree. It should be just, and I understand where you're both coming from.
Yep.
It was like, well, what makes you want to, well, I love my country. Okay, I can see where you're coming from there. Now, I also see it as like, this is my duty put on me by my fathers and forefathers. It is a duty out of obligation as a man that grew up in the United States. Now, if I grew up in Ireland, cool. Yeah. I'd be a more nationalist, as we label it now, out of obligation's sake, because the answer he's looking for is, I love the country.
Right.
But I have a duty to my country.
Yeah, no, I was going to cycle back there eventually. That's where I was going.
I don't always love what the country's doing.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to continue the rest of this off segment. We'll catch you guys in a few seconds. See you in a few.